Hey, I'm JR, training manager here at Crutchfield, and I am here in the studio today with the brand new Sonos Arc soundbar. This replaces the old Sonos Playbar and improves on it in so many ways. There's more speakers, it has Dolby Atmos, Google Home built in, and Alexa built in. It is bigger, it sounds better, and it looks nicer. Before we get into the details, I want to tell you, I took this soundbar to my home and I replaced my 5.1 surround sound system with this Sonos Arc and a Sonos sub. I didn't even add Sonos rear surrounds, just the soundbar and the sub, and I have to tell you, it was hard to tell the difference between my dedicated 5.1 surround system and a single soundbar and a subwoofer. The Sonos Arc and the sub was just as loud and just as detailed as my 5.1 surround sound system. I could easily replace it with this much simpler, easier to set up sound system and be very happy. Let's talk about that Dolby Atmos. There are 11 speakers in this soundbar, including 8 elliptical drivers, 2 that are up-firing, a dedicated center channel, and 2 side-firing angled tweeters. All of those speakers give you a lot of height and surround sound presence from a single soundbar. When I had the Arc and the sub at my house, one of the movies I watched was Mission Impossible Fallout. And this is a pretty great movie for surround sound, lots of effects and stuff happening all over the place. And you really got that sort of feeling with this soundbar, even without adding rear surrounds. One scene in particular was where Ethan Hunt is riding a motorcycle down a hallway with pillars sort of whizzing by, and the sounds of those pillars sounded like they were coming from my surround speakers from my dedicated 5.1 system, but I was not using that. It was all coming from the Arc and the sub. The volume was incredible. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get the loudness, the volume that I am used to with listening to movies at my house. This thing actually went louder than my existing home theater does, and I gotta tell you, I was very happy. I was also impressed with just how clear dialogue was. I like my center channel that I have at my house now. This is a better center channel than what I have. In other words, I seriously need to upgrade my speakers, and a Sonos surround system is probably the way to go. And you can use several different Sonos speakers as rear surrounds and pair them with the Arc and the sub, like the Sonos One SL would be a perfect choice. You get 2 of those and they become your surround left and surround right for a full Dolby Atmos surround system. To get Dolby Atmos from the Sonos Arc, it's a simple HDMI connection from your TV to the soundbar using audio return channel, specifically enhanced audio return channel. This is a feature on newer TVs in the last year or so. If you happen to have one of those newer TVs and you are streaming shows from Netflix and Amazon and various other sources, there's a pretty good chance you're going to be able to stream with the audio in Dolby Atmos, which means dedicated sounds for those upward firing speakers and side angled tweeters that were built into the soundtrack of the movie. Now, if you don't have a newer TV, which actually my TV is not new enough to give me Dolby Atmos, don't worry. You'll still get full use of all of the 11 speakers in the Sonos Arc. The Sonos has processing to give you pretty good height effects and surround effects from all of the built-in speakers, and that's what I noticed when watching movies at my house. Even though I couldn't take advantage of the full-on Dolby Atmos, it still sounded like I was. As far as connecting it and setting it up in my house, I was impressed with just how easy it was. I already have Sonos at my house, but I've had it for a long time and I've been using the original Sonos app that is now called the S1 app. The new Sonos app is the S2 app, which is what all of the new Sonos products are going to use. And I gotta tell you, it felt very familiar. If you've set up a Sonos system before, it will feel like it always has. It's smooth and it's easy. As far as the connections to my TV goes, it's a simple HDMI connection from the TV to the soundbar. That's how all the sound gets into this soundbar. There is no other way. Now, if your TV doesn't have an audio return channel capable HDMI connection, you could use an optical digital output. Sonos does include an adapter so that you can run an optical cable into the HDMI input on the Sonos Arc. Controlling the system, you've got several ways to do that. Of course, you're going to download the Sonos app and you'll have total control over what's playing and how it's playing from the Sonos app. When you connect it to your TV with an HDMI cable, in all likelihood, your TV's remote is going to just naturally start controlling the volume of the Sonos Arc soundbar, and that's because of the way HDMI cables work. There are also top-mounted controls, so if you find yourself near your soundbar, you can play, pause, stop, fast forward, turn the volume up and down, things like that. And lastly, it has both Google Home and Alexa built in. Now you'll have to choose which smart assistant you like to use, but once you've chosen that and done the setup, you'll be able to do all of the things you can do with Google Home and Alexa just talking to your soundbar. It has a microphone built in that can hear you in a large room, so just about anywhere in the room you should be just fine. And I've barely even touched on the whole idea that Sonos is a wireless multi-room audio system, and this is simply one zone. You can have zones of Sonos all over your house, and one of the benefits of having the Arc connected to your TV is that the audio playing on your TV goes into the Sonos Arc and then becomes available as a source and all the other rooms of your home where you have Sonos speakers. The Sonos Arc is also wall mountable, or as you can see here, you can simply set it on your TV stand. And it has a magnetic sensor inside, so it knows if it's been wall mounted or if it's sitting on a stand, and it can actually change the sound so it sounds better for the stand versus the wall mount. And last but not least, and I know this might sound a little silly, but save the box that the Sonos Arc comes in. Sonos's attention to detail with just the packaging of the Arc is impressive. The box is well put together. The styrofoam is not going to fall apart. It's got little locking mechanisms and a handle on top. So if you ever need to move and you want to take your Sonos from one house to another, it's pretty easy to repackage it in the box. You will not want to throw this box away when you take the Arc out of it. So if you couldn't tell, I really thoroughly enjoyed having the Sonos Arc at my house, and I'm definitely considering it as a replacement for my current 5.1 home theater system. Man, if you have any questions about the Sonos Arc, throw it in the comments down below. We'd love to help you answer your questions there. And of course, while you're at it and you're on the page anyway, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, get notified when we put out new videos so that you can keep up with the latest and greatest. And thanks for watching.